Welcome to Bay Rats and Buoys Season 2 with your host, Captain Gage.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bay Rats and Buoys. I'm your host, Captain Gage. This is episode number 57, Season 2, from the studio, brought to you in part by Nautical School of Maritime Licensing. Visit nauticalschool.com and get your captain's license now. There's no better time to register for those classes than this time of the year. You guys have the off season to get it done, so go get it done and become a captain. Head on over to nauticalschool.com. Mike and his wife run an amazing operation, and I can assure you, you're going to love taking the classes there. So visit nauticalschool.com. What's up, guys? We are back in the studio. Lots going on. I did say I was going to potentially do this week's episode from the new studio, but there's construction going on, so here I am sitting in my usual studio, which is getting more and more upgrades every week anyway, so I love being here. This is my favorite place on earth, and except when I'm in the ice rink with the kids, because that's my second favorite place on earth this time of the year, and I'll say fly fishing in the river might be my third, or being down south, getting on some pelagic fish down south this time of the year. That's my favorite thing to do. So there you go. Those are my top list of 4 or 5 things that you'll catch me doing over the next 5 months. And season came to an end for me today. I pulled a boat. I said it was going to be 50-something degrees, mid-50s. I said to Corey, let's head down to the ramp and let's pull it out. I know it's going to be blowing this afternoon. I mean, Mother Nature had this. So, Mike, you sent me a message. The champ is here. Mike, the champion of the tournament, sent a message the other day saying, turn the fan off. Ironically enough, I had an air conditioning unit running in the studio, and this studio, I wanted to see how cold I can make it in here. And it was freezing. So when you got all these lights and crazy things going on, a lot of times you got to run the air conditioning, cool the room. And I saw turn the fan off. And I swear to you, it was hysterical. I thought I left the air conditioning unit on and somebody was texting me to turn it off here at the studio in the office. And I was just like, no way. And then I saw it was his message and he was like, Mother Nature's killing us. You know, so it's so true. The season ended. It was just these last couple of weeks have been so windy out there. And yeah, I do windows to get out because you had tog fishing going on, which we said, you know, it goes on this time of the year. Everybody's out tog fishing, squid fishing, and chasing the bass. So the birds are out there in full force. No doubt about that. There's no shortage of birds and fish in the bay, in the Sound, Cold Spring Harbor, Oyster Bay. It doesn't matter where you go. The bass are here. Manny from the West knows best. He's on them too. And he's got his secret spots. But I tell you what, what's not a secret is the photograph I'll put up here of Manny holding the fish. It's got an NLBN in the mouth. You all know what that stands for. That is the no live bait needed that I recommended to you guys throughout the season, and I want you to know it is my go-to bait this year. For 2025, NLBN was amazing. It worked great. So I'm going to have to reach out to NLBN, the company, and let them know that Bay Rats and Buoys is definitely helping them with sales and see if we could talk to them about sponsorship or doing something in the future. We are open-minded. And I did mention Gene has been fishing locally, and he's been getting on the tog. So he took his son out. And in the last 16 keepers that he caught, he did it in 3 trips on the same 3/4-ounce jig on his snap jigging rod. So kudos to Gene, and great job for getting his son out on the tog and getting it done. He's wearing a great outfit here. I asked him if I could post a picture and share it with you guys because I love the outfit that he's wearing. And I mean, from the jacket, the glasses, you name it. This is how you teach the kids how to fish and how to get on a boat with dad. So great job, Gene. This is awesome. Absolutely love that. And keep it up. So I also have to give a shout out to Kalo, our #1 fan on Spotify from Astoria, because God only knows what I said last week. I don't even remember what I said. But it was close to Kalo, but it wasn't Kalo. So thank you for being the #1 fan on Spotify. we appreciate you. And everybody else in the West there, we really appreciate you because you guys are really tuning in and showing the love to Bay Rats and Buoys, and we greatly appreciate that. We really do, including Jumpin' Jack Bass, Manny from the West, Kalo, Frank, and everybody that wished my son Ethan a happy birthday a month ago. I greatly appreciate that as well because you saw in the post when I put up the winner for the raffle, I mentioned that it was his birthday and we were going to the Islander game. So that's that. I appreciate you guys wishing him a happy birthday on social media, and so does he. So I'm back in the rinks, man. I am ice skating 3 days a week. I'm out there with the kids doing power skating drills and all that crazy stuff. I love being on the ice as much as I love being on the water. I really do. So that's what's happening in my life this time of the year. So I'm kind of happy the boat's out of the water. Need to fix the bilge. The bilge wasn't working. And it was really just a wiring issue. Once we replaced, I told you, the two problems we had with the boat this year, where we stretched the cable and we spun the hub. So when we stretched the cable, the next morning, we were supposed to have a charter with Anton and Anton Jr., who come out with us multiple times for the year. So I had no problem reaching out to Anton Sr. and saying, hey, look, we stretched the cable. If I can get it fixed in time, we'll head out and everything remains the same. If we can't, we'll reschedule. And we rescheduled for a day or two later that week, and we were able to accommodate and get him out, which was awesome. And that was the only interruption we had in charters really all season. Other than recently, Mother Nature we had a blowout. There was a small craft advisory on a tog fishing trip, and we had to cancel again. Somebody else, Ed, that comes out with us 3-4 times a season. It would have been his 4th trip for the season, and we greatly appreciate all of the people that show their love and fishing support for Sand City Charter. You guys are awesome. Bay Rats and Buoys would not be possible if it wasn't for Sand City Fishing Charter. And I appreciate you guys and all the support. Me and Corey both. We absolutely love all the people that come out on our boat because we become friends with them. We really do. To the point where we're still texting and communicating. We get emails. We get messages. They comment on the videos. And we love having them on the boat. We get out. We have such a good time. And we say it every year. Matt, Scott, and Jera, that's like one of the most fun trips for us. We look forward to that trip every year. And I mean, you leave, your ribs hurt from the laughter. It's just nonstop fun. It really is. Great bunch of guys. And we get out there, we crush the bass. They're tired of reeling them in. When the rod goes off, they're just like, who's next? Who's got it? You take it. I don't want it. I just reeled one in. You get it. And it's like, yeah, I'm telling you, it's Abbott and Costello meets the Three Stooges. It's pretty funny. So we've met a lot of cool people on our boat, and we're very grateful. So it was a great season to wrap up 2025. We're still in season 2 of Bay Rats and Buoys because the new season does not start for us until April 15th of 2026. So during the wintertime, I'm going to put this out there now because it's early in the podcast. And all the guys that we mentioned and that we shout out, and we talk about, we talk to online, feel free to get your freshwater license and meet me and Corey at the Connecticut River where we're going to do our fly fishing this winter. We're going to hit a few other spots too, but that's one of the spots that we do frequent often. We make our reservation. We get there early. We get the number. We get there. We pick out a spot. And sometimes we'll do a full day. Sometimes we do the 8 to 12, or we'll do the afternoon, depending on what we're feeling like that day, But if you have waders and you can get in the water and you can get your hands on the fresh water license that you have to go there, because you're going to have to show it to them. So you spend $25, you get your freshwater license. You just add it on to your saltwater registry license that you have. And if you have a pair of waders, get the license. We got rods and flies and everything you need. You really could just say to me, hey, I don't have a fly rod, but I'd love to come give it a shot and come hang out with me and Corey, and we'll show you the ropes and show you the place. Because when I first went to Connecticut, I mean, I was like, holy cow, where do I go? What do I do? I mean, I see people standing, everybody's in the parking lot getting dressed. You see people over there getting online. I'm like, what are they getting online for? Meanwhile, Phil had mentioned to me, Phil over at Cal Harbor had told me about how, the process to go online and make a reservation, call the place. And just turns out that when I got there, for the first time that I was going to Connecticut River to go fly fishing, some guy comes walking over and he goes, "Hey, are you Gage?" And I was just like, "Oh my God, yes, I am. I think I am." So he was like, "I'm friends with Kenny," and Kenny told him I was going, and this made this took all the weight and burden off my shoulders of what do I go do now? What's the next process? I got to go stand in line with everybody. I got to go pick a spot. They call your number. It's like, holy cow. There's so much going on over there that if you don't know where to even walk and go, you'll never find your spot. You got to walk down the river. You got to cross the river. You got to go down this path. You got to lift up this gate. I mean, you're going to see deer the size of giraffes and all kinds of wildlife. It's just an epic place to go in the off season for us. So that's my invitation to you to come join me and Corey. You don't need a fly rod. We got plenty of rods and flies. We've tied gazillions of them. And we're ready to go. So come join us. And what's cool about it is if I reserve this spot and you reserve that spot and Corey gets the next spot, we could take over a good portion of the river, which is very, very cool to do. Even though if you don't do that, it's still a very cool place to go. It really is. So that's what we're going to do this winter and get the rods to bend and hopefully make some trips down south and scratch off some of the fish that are on our bucket list. So I'm pretty happy the season came to an end. I said that already. But I'm always happy when the boat's out of the water. You don't have that, oh my God, the boat's there. The bilge ain't working properly. The wind, the weather. Recently, boats broke off. They were up on, bulkheads getting banged around. There's always something happening in our area. So it was nice to take the boat out today and call it quits for the season. And I got to say, this weather this year was crazy. It really was. Don't get me wrong. We did a ton of fishing. I mean, when I pulled the boat out, I was expecting the bottom to be way worse. Even Captain Mike from Cito, he was down at the boat ramp this morning, bringing a boat down to the ramp. And we were already there. We were already out of the water. And we had just pulled the plug and letting some of the water drain out and scrubbing some of the stuff. And even he said, he's like, dude, your bottom it's pretty clean for a boat that you didn't do much to. Usually I pull it out, halfway in the season. I didn't even bottom paint it this year. We used the boat so much, and I figured out, let's see what happens. Usually I'll pull it out mid-season, pull it out in July or August and throw the coat of paint on. And this way it's good to go. I could have, even Corey said this to me, he goes, you can get another season out of this. I'm like, I would never do that. But he was right. I could. I mean, it really doesn't look that bad. There was just a few little barnacles that were on it. And how about those shrimp and things that are crawling when you scrape them off the trim tabs? And, they look like praying mantis dinosaur things that are prehistoric. And it's pretty crazy. But if you hit them with fresh water, they die, so. Corey's like a fish tank guy, so he told me that. So I believe him. I don't know why, but I do. Anyway, it's out. Now we got to bottom paint it, clean it, power wash it this weekend, and wrap it up and put it away, winterize the engine, and we like to do all that stuff ourselves, Makes us feel like we know what we're doing. To some degree, we do, So it's fun to take care of your stuff. Just like Frank. Kudos to you, man. Frank, you did so much work to that new Robalo that you got. And the messages that you sent me and the work that you just recently did to hook up the Minn Kota. That's next. Manny, you're right. Manny sent me a message and he says, this is you next year. And he sent me a picture of the trolling motor and, spot lock and whatnot. So, yes, we will have spot lock next year because We know we needed it. We do. Listen, one thing at a time. This year we did the Simrad. We went with the side scan, the bird mode, the radar, all of that fun stuff. So we feel like we're making the necessary upgrades every year. So Spot Lock is next. And then it's time for the bigger boat. We're ready. It's time to move up, and we have a great workable boat for our area. The boat treats us well. It gets out there. It gets up on plane. It gets us to where we got to go anytime, anywhere. Doesn't matter where you want to go. That boat will get you there. And we love that about our Hydra Sports. Corey said we got to change the name to Hydra Yacht because a few people had nicknamed it the Hydra Yacht as a joke. Obviously, it's not a yacht. You know that. And passing by in the harbor, I saw Tony. Tony's out. Tony and Dave are out. So, Janine, she pulled her boat out. Eric, I saw your boat still in. I passed you today. Obviously, Will's going to stay in until the end of December. He'll be in Christmas time, probably going to Mohegan Sun on the boat until there's big icebergs in the rivers. That's what you got to watch out for, Will. You got to watch out for the icebergs up the Hudson. And I could tell you a few stories. In fact, I will. Over time, I will tell you fun stories and crazy things that happen out there because there's always something going on the water. Always. Even this time of the year, now guys are shifting over. You're going to hear gunshots going off in Lloyd Harbor. You're going to hear shotguns. You hear people duck hunting. And, it really, there's so much that goes on. We live on an island. And I always say that to people I was taking Ubers a lot last year, and when these Uber drivers were driving down West Shore Road or any of the roads near the water, they're looking, and they're like, are those all people's boats? And I'm like, no, those are all rentals. You just go rent those. Of course those are people's boats, you moron. What do you think? They're just boats out there for anybody to go grab and use? Yeah, just go jump on that sailboat right there and take it out. So don't get me wrong. Don't get me started even. I make fun of people. I'll say it to them. I don't care. I enjoy life. I do. And we always say we live on an island. So there's a lot of water activities that still go on this time of the year. But just keep in mind, today the water temperature was 49 degrees. Talking to Gene, and he was out there not too long ago, and he was like, yeah, it was 56 degrees. And obviously, the temperature changed with the cold snap, those cold nights that came in when it's 30. We got up one morning to head down to the boat. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's 39 degrees. Yep, long johns are on, full Grundon sweatshirts, the hats. Somebody saw me in Lloyd Harbor. He was on the shoreline. He was launching a kayak. And he's like, I thought I saw you guys, but I couldn't tell. He goes, I didn't see your hair color. So I wasn't sure if it was you. Do you have two flags on the back of the boat? I said, yeah, I do. He says, okay, yeah, it was definitely you then. I was like, well, you should have just called me. Because you get out there now, guys, the birds are, when the birds are, congregated, it's hundreds of birds. And the bass are there, and they're dinks, there's small bit fish, and there's decent-sized fish in the mix. Don't get me wrong. They're not all dinks. But this time of the year, that's the majority of the fish. They're going to be the smaller schoolies with some big fish mixed in, which makes it fun, which is why Manny stays into December because he'll fish them west, and he'll still get them. And me, I'm done. Boat's out. It gets too cold for me. I don't enjoy it. So when I don't enjoy something, that's it. I have a threshold for what temperature I'm willing to stay out there. And I'll tell you right now, I think 55 for me is like April. I'm ready to be out on the water when it's 55 degrees. Beautiful out there right now. It's perfect. It's mid-50s. I could deal with that. But once it gets down into 40 degrees and you deal with the water and the wet and the fish and the this, I'm done. Put a fork in it. Put a fork in me. I'm finished. So I hope you guys had a great season. But, we were talking about the weather. And what a crazy year from the beginning to now. The end of the season sucked as far as the wind blowing. It was just ridiculous. Like you said, Mike, the fan was on. Mother Nature just turned that fan on, left it on. And I saw even James was waiting for the wind to die down, doing squid fishing in the harbor and in the bay, in the area here. So Squid fishing is going on right now. They're catching squid. And obviously the tog bites great. Gene did great on the New York side with keepers and a 3/4 ounce jig. He crushed it during tog season. He's still ready to get out there. He's hoping for 1 or 2 more windows to get out and get on the fish. Manny, you had a nice bass. The picture you sent me, that was a nice bass you recently had. So it's good to see that they're still hitting the NLBNs. That's the last thing I was throwing and getting them on. So that's how I finished out the season. Wasn't on flutter spoons, wasn't trolling. It was the NLBNs, which I recommend every episode to head on over to Rob over at High Hook. He's got a whole wall of the NLBNs, and he's got everything you need in there. That place is incredible. Really is. And me and Corey had a great season over there, getting the stuff we needed. He's open nice and early. This time of the year, he did change his hours. He's got winter hours. So I think the opening time is 7 a.m., where it was 6 a.m. previously. And I know a lot of guys in my marina get their green crab there and whatnot. So visit High Hook. Now, here's a name you haven't heard me mention in a while, but I thought of him today when I was driving down the road with the boat on the trailer, and Matt from J&M Seafood opened up the shop in East Setauket, and I'm going to recommend if you guys are out east that way in the Port Jeff area, East Setauket area, head on over. I was there Saturday night. We were over at the rinks in Hauppauge, and we were watching the Stony Brook Seawolves. They took on Delaware, and it was an epic game. They absolutely crushed them 11-2. So I say that because he's in East Setauket. You got to go through Stony Brook to get to East Setauket and go to Port Jeff. So that's why I passed by my old stomping grounds. I used to be a DJ and MC at the bench there. It used to be called the Park Bench. Now it's just the bench. And it was an epic party place for the college kids back then. It still is, I'm sure. But it was fun to see the college hockey this past weekend. Me and my kids love going and bouncing around to different rinks. We're going to go hit the closest NCAA school we have is Sacred Heart right across the Sound. Unfortunately, I'm not taking the boat across. I'm going to drive over. But we're going to bounce around. We love to go watch some college hockey. It's real cool. So Matt at J&M Seafood opened up the shop in East Setauket. So he's got East Northport and East Setauket. I didn't go over and check on your boat today, Matt, when I was down there. I really made a beeline to my boat, untied it, and got out of there because I had Corey waiting down at the ramp, and we were taking the boat out. So I didn't go check on your boat, but the last I did look, everything was okay over there. So I like to check on people's boats and let them know if they haven't been down there. I haven't seen them in a while. And if any of the guys at know me and work together or hang out in the marina, you need a hand with your boat, getting it out. You need somebody to drive it over to the ramp for you. You got the trailer. You let me know. Hit me up. Be happy to help you. Wednesdays and Fridays are technically my busy days that I'm here in the studio. So today's Thursday. It's podcast day. We're going to get the Bay Rats and Buoys episode 57 out to the people and to all our loyal listeners on Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcast. Those are the 3 top streaming podcast sites that are downloading it, and I think podcasts. Kayla, we appreciate you. Number 1 fan on Spotify, representing Astoria. And wow. The season started off with some crappy weather and ended with some crappy weather, but I got to say, the meat and potatoes in between, it was an epic fishing year. Lots to talk about for the wintertime, like we'll be at the boat show. Here's our invitation that we'll put out to a lot of the vendors that are going to be there and invite them on the podcast. We're back at booth number 1260. So I think we have 1260 and 1261 or 1260 and 1259. We have 2 booths at this year's show. So stop by and check us out. We're going to be excited to be there for the 5 days from Wednesday to Sunday, the 21st to the 25th of January. Then you have the Copeg Fire Department Fishing Show is going on January 31st. And then you have the Ward Melville Show, which is a 2-day event this year. And we're excited. Our name is on the roster. We're in the gym. So we're back there again this year. Very excited about that as well. So you guys will be able to stop by and say what's up during the wintertime. But if you want to get out there and fish with me and Corey on the Connecticut River, let us know. We'll be happy to, invite you, teach you how to get the reservation. If you don't have a fly rod, you can meet up with us. We'll meet you there. We'll be there that morning with you, and we'll get you outfitted with what you need and teach you the ropes over there. Because, man, I tell you, that is one fun place during the wintertime. It really is. And who else? What else we got? Who else we shouting out here today? We shouted out a lot of guys. I'm probably forgetting some people. I'm going to look at the phone, which is, next year I'm going to be a little more in tune to, Scott, your boat is still there in the marina. Yes, the bluefin, you can't target him. The yellowfin, and he's done chasing around the tuna. His boat's still in. He's got the canvas closing back on the main ship there, and he's going to head out and do some tog fishing. So if you turn it on the heat, Scott, and you got some chicken soup or some hot chocolate, you can invite me and Corey. We'll definitely come on the heated boats for sure, 100%. But as far as freezing out there on a center console, whew, and when it's windy, catching that wrong wave, the wrong wind, no, thank you. I'm done. That's it. Winter is here. It's time for snowboarding, lots of ice hockey. I'll be at all the ice rinks. I'm at Clark Gillies, Superior, the rinks in Hauppauge, and every week I'm at one of those rinks. We're venturing out. We're going to hit the Northwell rink over there in Eisenhower Park. Check that out. Let the kids see some new places. And that's it. We're going to get our gear ready. We're going to wrap the boat up, clean it up, get it put away. That'll be this weekend that we'll finalize all that. Winterize the engine, boom, wrap it, it's done. Put it away. All the gear, we're going to get ready. We start in January. We start getting all our stuff ready in January so that everything is good to go in April. We're not worried about leader and lines and what we're tying, and all the reels going to get cleaned and, refurbished and oiled up and ready to go. We're not going to wait until April to go, to fix reels and stuff like that. April, we're already picking our fishing spots. We are going to travel around in 2026. We are going to start the season west. We're coming, Manny. I already told you where I'm going, and I already invited him on the boat for the first trip out with me and Corey. That's how we roll. And we will tell you in April where we go on day one. You'll see us. We're going to post some sick videos, and we're super excited. But we're planning all that. We do it. We schedule everything out because once the charters start getting booked, March is the time of the year when we'll offer a winter discount to book charters. And guys will book in March with the opportunity of fluctuating a few of the dates around. They can move them around. So they get a discount. They buy the charter, and then they have the opportunity. They pick the date they think they want. But let's say, we look, in advance and we see it's going to be blowing 25, 30 that day. They're going to move it and pick a better tide, pick a better day. We're very flexible, Sand City Charter, and we love that. But this year, Bay Rats and Buoys is starting the Bay Rats and Buoys Fishing Club. So this is going to give us the opportunity to hang out a little bit more, meet each other, meet, greet, have dinner at a restaurant, do some cool things, create a club, create tournaments, create competitions, and just make it as much fun as we possibly can have out on the water and challenge other clubs and venture off into other areas. So we're excited what 2026 brings to the table for us. 2025 was an epic year. It was an epic season. The fishing was phenomenal. And I'm a predominantly striped bass fisherman. That's what we target. And we tagged so many fish this year. It was an incredible year. It really was. So I hope you guys had as much fun as we did. I hope your boats are coming out of the water because I know even Tom in Oyster Bay, he said he's got to be out of that marina by the 15th. I am not being pushed out or forced out in any way. I could have kept my boat in, I know guys come in this time of the year into our marina to grab some winter slips just so they could stay in the water and tog fish and squid fish and get out there and do their thing on the water this time of the year. Me, it's too cold. I'm done. So we tagged a lot of bass. We were happy to get out there this year and catch as many bass as we did. I'm going to put together some sick videos. We did some incredible videotaping this year for content that we will now start to put up and post, which we didn't post throughout the season. We showed a few things here on the podcast because as we created it, we showed it, but we didn't actually put it out individually on social media. So we're going to do that now and show some of the cool times that we had on the Hydra Yacht. That's its nickname. And Bay Rats and Buoys Fishing Club. Can't wait to invite you guys in, welcome you to the club, and let's blow this thing up and have a great time in 2026. So I appreciate all our loyal listeners like Kalo, our #1 fan on Spotify in Astoria, and Manny from the West, and Jumpin' Jack Bass, and Gene, and Frank, and Tony, and Janine, and Melissa, and all the people that listen to the show that make this show what it is. We love you. We appreciate you tuning in every week. And that's a wrap. Episode 57. The boat's getting wrapped, and this episode's a wrap. So don't forget to head on over to nauticalschool.com and get enrolled in a captain's class and take that desk job to the water and become a captain and have a great time out there doing what captains love to do. So whether it's chartering a boat, running sunset cruises, running launch boats, whatever it is that you want to do, go get your captain's license over at nauticalschool.com. Tell Mike Captain Gage sent you from Bay Rats and Buoys. And we appreciate you tuning in to episode 57. Wishing everybody bent rods, tight lines, and I'll see you at the Connecticut River. Captain Gage signing off, over and out.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Bay Rats and Buoys. Be sure to visit sandcitycharter.com and follow Captain Gage on all our social media channels.